Welcome to the world of online learning. I am Dr. G.K. Viju, Professor, University of Garden City, Khartoum, Sudan. We at GK Online Learning Tutorial emphasize on the topics from software engineering, project management, quality management, strategic management, and mathematics. Today we are going to discuss the topics from software engineering. Please subscribe to our channel for continuous support.
Then comes iterative waterfall model. Iterative waterfall model is the extension of the waterfall model. This model is almost the same as that of the waterfall model, except some modifications are made to improve the performance of the software development. The iterative waterfall model provides customers feedback paths from each phase to its previous phase. In the practical software development, the classical waterfall model is hard to use. So, iterative waterfall model can be thought of on incorporating the necessary changes to the classical waterfall model to make it usable in practical software development project. It is almost the same as the classical waterfall model, except some changes are made to increase the efficiency of the software development. The iterative waterfall model provides feedback paths from every phase to its preceding phases, which is the main difference from the classical waterfall model. When errors are detected in some later phases, these feedback paths allow correcting errors committed by programmers during some phases. The feedback path allow the phase to be reworked in which errors are committed, and these changes are reflected in the later stages. But there is no feedback phase or feedback path to the stage feasibility study, because once a project has been taken, does not give up the project easily. It is good to detect errors in the same phase in which they are committed. It reduces the effort and time required to correct the errors. Prototyping model. It is one of the most popularly used software development lifecycle model. This model is used when the customers do not know exact project requirements. The process starts by interviewing the customers and developing the incomplete high-level paper model. It's defined as the process of developing a work replication of a product or system that has to be engineered. It offers a small facsimile of the end product and is used for obtaining customer feedback. It's one of the most popularly used software development model. This model is used when customers do not know the exact project requirements. In this model, the prototype of the end product is first developed, tested and refined as per customer feedback repeatedly till the final acceptable prototype is achieved, which forms the basis for developing the final product. In this process model, the system is particularly implemented before, on, or during the analysis phase, thereby giving the customers an opportunity to see the product early in the life cycle. The process starts by interviewing the customers and developing the incomplete high-level paper model. This document is used to build the initial prototype, supporting only the basic functionality as desired by the customer. Once the customer figured out the problems, the prototype is further redefined to eliminate them. The process continues till the user approves the prototype and finds the working model to be satisfactory. There are two approaches for the model: rapid through-away prototyping. In this technique, it offers a useful method for exploring ideas and getting customer feedback for each of them. In this method, a developed prototype need not necessarily be part of the ultimately accepted prototype. Customer feedback helps in preventing unnecessary design fault, and hence the final prototype developed is to be of better quality. Second one, evolutionary prototyping. In this method, the prototype developed initially is incrementally refined on the basis of customer feedback till it finally gets accepted. In comparison to rapid throwaway prototyping, it offers a better approach which saves time as well as effort. This is because developing a prototype from scratch for every iteration of the process can sometimes be very frustrating for the developers. Advantages: the customers get to see the partial product early in the life cycle. This ensures greater level of customer satisfaction and comfort. New requirements can be easily accommodated as there is scope for refinement. Missing functionalities can be easily figured out. Errors can be detected much earlier, thereby saving a lot of effort and cost, besides enhancing the quality of the software. The development prototype can be reused by the developer for more complicated projects in the future, and flexibility in design. Disadvantages: costly with respect to time as well as money. There may be too much variations in requirements each time the prototype is evaluated by the customer. Poor documentation due to continuously changing customer requirements. It is very difficult for the developers to accommodate all the changes demanded by the customer. There is uncertainty in determining the number of iterations that would be required before the prototype is finally accepted by the customer. After seeing an early prototype, the customers sometimes demand the actual product to be delivered soon. Developers in a hurry to build prototypes may end up with the suboptimal solutions, and finally, the customer might lose interest in the product if he or she is not satisfied with the initial prototype. Usage: the prototyping model should be used when the requirements of the product are not clearly understood or are unstable. It can also be used if requirements are changing quickly. This model can be successfully used for developing user interfaces, high technology software intensive systems, and systems with complex algorithms and interfaces. It is also a very good choice to demonstrate the technical feasibility of the product. Then comes evolutionary model. It is also called successive version model or incremental model. At first, a simple working model is built. Subsequently, it undergoes functional improvements, and we keep on adding new functions till the desired system is built. Evolutionary model is a combination of iterative and incremental model of software development lifecycle. The evolutionary development model divides the development cycle into smaller incremental waterfall model in which users are able to get access to the product at the end of each cycle. It suggests breaking down of work into smaller chunks, prioritizing them, and then delivering those chunks to the customer one by one. The number of chunks is huge and is a number of deliveries made to the customers. The main advantage is that the customer's confidence increases as he constantly gets quantifiable goods or services from the beginning of the project to verify and validate his requirements. The model allows for changing requirements as well as all work in broken down into maintainable work chunks. Then comes the final one, that is a spiral model. The diagrammatic representation of this model appears like a spiral which many loops. The exact number of loops in the spiral is not fixed. Each loop of the spiral represents a phase of the software process. It combines the ideas of iterative development with the systematic controlled aspect of the waterfall model. It allows incremental releases of the product or incremental refinement through each iteration around the spiral. The spiral model is one of the most important software development lifecycle models, which provides support for risk handling. In its diagrammatic representation, it looks like a spiral with many loops. The exact number of loops of the spiral is unknown and can vary from project to project. Each loop of the spiral is called the phase of the software development process. The exact number of phases need to develop the product can be varied by the project manager depending upon the project risks. As the project manager dynamically determines the number of phases, so the project manager has an important role to develop a product using spiral model. The radius of the spiral at any point represents the expenses or the cost of the project, so for and an angular dimension represents the progress made so far in the current phase. Each phase of the spiral model is divided into 4 quadrants as given below. The function of these 4 quadrants are: first quadrant used for object setting. Requirements are gathered from the customers and objectives are identified. elaborated and analyzed at the start of every phase. Then alternative solutions possible for the phase are proposed in the quadrant. Second quadrant, risk assessment and reduction. During the second quadrant, all the possible solutions are evaluated to select the best possible solution. Then the risk associated with that solution is identified and the risks are resolved using the best possible strategy. At the end of this quadrant, prototype is built for best possible solution. Third quadrant, development and validation. During the third quadrant, the identified features are developed and verified through testing. At the end of the third quadrant, the next version of the software is available. Fourth quadrant, review and planning. In the fourth quadrant, the customers evaluate the so far developed version of the software. In the end, planning of the next phase is started. This is the end of the session. Please like, subscribe and share. If you are having any queries, please mail to me to the mail ID given in the slide. Thank you.